My friends, a round of applause for MI5, MI6 and GCHQ, holding the fort while Britain's borders are leakier than a cheap colander from Poundland. Hundreds of thousands of fighting-age men wandering about this country with sudden onset amnesia. No names, no backstory, no passports. They're more lost than sleepy Joe Biden at an international summit. But don't get too comfy just yet in your safety and security, because MI5's top dog, Ken McCallum, he's just done a podcast where he says they're making uncomfortable choices as a vital service. What's the translation there? What does that mean? They're shelving counter-terrorism efforts because chasing down Russians, setting fire to the place and assassinating dissidents is the new day job. Jolly good, eh? So with their plate piled higher than a list of Keir Starmer manifesto breaches, MI5, they're juggling threats from Russia to China to Iran and teenagers radicalised by dodgy imams and downloadable PDFs from the dark web. You'd think now, right now, would be the best time to hire the sharpest tools in the shed for our security services, wouldn't you? Nah. Instead, they're turning away white kids from security service internships. That's right. If you're a white lad dreaming of sipping martinis as the next 007, oh, I'm sorry, matey. No room for you in Walkford-on-Thames. We're binning national security for the sacred cow of diversity, equity and inclusion. Or as I prefer, deliberately excluding Indigenous. The only DEI worth its salt to me, my friends. Deport every illegal. And why are we doing this? To hit some daft diversity quotas, while threats to Britain are, according to MI5, grander and more sophisticated than ever. When competence takes a backseat to ticking woke boxes, we're not just playing with fire, we're handing the enemy right now the lighter, the petrol, and a signed thank you note. DEI isn't just daft. It's downright dangerous.
It has been revealed that Sadiq Khan will be honoured with a knighthood in the Keir Starmer's next New Year's honours list. One wonders what he will be knighted for. Will it be services for early bedtime? So we're told that London nightlife, if we have some charts, I believe, coming up now, is fading faster than anywhere else in the country. Will he be knighted for services for dangerous tube trips, in which crime on the tube is up 56% under his watch? Will he be knighted for gridlock? Traffic delays are up 26% under his watch. Will he be knighted for services to violent crime? Again, up 30% under his watch. On every objective measure, London is a city which is worse under Sadiq Khan than when he entered the mayorship in 2016. But it's the subjective measure as well. Everyone who lives in London can feel that this is a city in decline, whether or not they choose to admit it. Now, admittedly, some things are out of Sadiq Khan's control. Mass migration and economic growth play a big part, although admittedly he cheers on both of those things with bells on. But on everything that he has control over, he has made this city worse. What message does this send? Ultimately, this message is that outcomes don't matter. Results don't matter if you're a civil servant. What matters is that if you have a series of high-status beliefs and then you shout them from the top of the biggest soapbox, you will be lauded by a small clique amongst the elite. This is shameful. Sadiq Khan should be shamed. He should not be honoured in this way. This is a very sad day for London. It's a very sad day for the United Kingdom.
I mean, Kai, you were calling on His Majesty the King to block this knighthood, weren't you?
You'd love that, wouldn't
even
you?
I can acknowledge that Sadiq Khan has been an utter turd upon the nation.
If he was that bad, then why does he keep getting elected by Londoners?
Yeah, okay.
Look,
We could do a whole show on
council
that.
house building, the highest rate since the 70s. Fears frozen, 1,300 new police on the streets to counteract that violent crime, 16,000
It's not working,
homeless
is it,
off
Kai?
the streets. But he's doing something, and I think this is about damn time that he got knighted, and I'm thrilled.
I'm a born and bred Londoner. I've lived here pretty much my entire... I know Dr. Renee, absolutely the same, lived here much longer than me, seen it change a lot more. I have seen this city change many times, and during the early 2000s and 2010s, while Boris Johnson was still mayor, actually, the city was growing. We had capital, we had investment, we were having lots of new buildings put up, and we had a good nightlife. We had lots of things going for it. It was safe. It was a safe place to be. It was respected around the world. Since Sadiq Khan has become mayor, this city has gone to the dogs. Crime is through the roof. People can't take their phones out on the streets anymore. And what is he doing? He's renaming the Overground. Rather than fixing the broken... He's the Police and Crime Commissioner for London, let's not forget. Rather than investing that money, those 12 million or whatever it was he spent on renaming the Overground for whatever bloody reason, he's investing it in this nonsense.
He's renamed one of the lines to the suffragette line. I said, I tell you what, he wants to call it the suffering line, because that's what he's doing to this nation.
But Alex is spot on. This is the thing that really annoys people. If he was just useless, that would be one thing. But it's the fact that he doesn't seem to care about what really matters to Londoners and instead puts money towards these flights of fancy, woke, nonsense campaigns.
Anyone got any spare change, by any chance? Spare change, anyone here? No. Well, if you find some, please put it aside for poor old Keir Starmer. He's now on what feels like his 17th relaunch of his ailing government. But rather than you having to sit there and listen to his laborious speech, I've prepared a little summary for you. Here it is.
We change our plan, not changing the conversation. Change and reform are coming. Fixing the foundations, change. A £22 billion black hole of change. Fixing the foundations, change. And plan for change. Deliver change, but also change. We all have a stake in change.
Sorry. But anyway, where is the change, Keir? Because your speech was full of everything you've already told us. We're fixing the foundations, we've got a 22 billion black hole, we're going to put a bobby on the streets. I mean, it's all the same old. And this comes off the back of a new poll. This new poll puts Labour in third place. Third place, get that. That is behind the Tories on 26%. And Reform on 24%. It puts Labour on 23%. So I'm going to ask the panel, what change does Starmer need to deliver if he doesn't want a change of government?
I can't believe you just called Stonewall a nefarious organisation. I can't believe you're against rainbow armbands when football, English football, is watched all over the world. It's revered by football fans. And in Africa, African countries, very, very popular, right? But 72 countries across the world criminalise homosexual relationships,
to do with us,
many of them being in Africa.
Nothing to do
and
with
this sign is an important symbol to show people that football is for everybody, right? And I think that's fantastic.
This is the problem, Kai, because people like you are very happy putting on rainbow kind of armbands as opposed to actually going out and solving those problems. This is just a diversion to stop us.
You're assuming that, you're implying there that Kai actually goes to football matches.
Secondary point.
To a bit of football.
But this is all just that sort of feel-good symbolism. If you actually have a problem in society, go and solve that problem. Don't just virtue signal.
The Football Association is supposed to be an apolitical sporting body for footballers who want to play football and have fun. You know? Instead, it's turned into a woke propaganda machine for nefarious organisations like Black Lives Matter and Stonewall. And it also, let's not forget the way it's treating its female players, as it actually forces them to play not against women and girls, which is who they want to play against, but against men, and they have to smile about it and say nothing. So this week it demonstrated its religious bias too. So embedded with Stonewall in it that the FA has demanded that the captains of our major football teams wear the stupid rainbow armband, regardless of whether or not they actually agree with it. It is without doubt, the rainbow armband, a political statement. So to the credit of a few players, they were religious and they didn't agree and they didn't want to wear it. And this is where the FA showed its bias towards one religion over another. So the footballer Mark Gay decided, he's a Christian, that he would wear it, but he wrote on it, "I love Jesus, Jesus loves you," on different matches. He has been spoken to by the FA, reprimanded, a slap on the wrist, and he's been reminded of the no political messages. You couldn't make it up, really, could you? So he's had a slap on the wrist. In other news, two other Muslim players, Sam Morsi and Nusret Muzrai, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrongly, just refused to wear it because of their religion, and I applaud them for that. What did the FA do? Nothing. They just looked away. No slap on the wrist for them. They just looked away. So the non-political, non-religious FA, in reality, is a political, religious, misogynistic, virtue signalling, authoritarian organisation that is determined to promote an ideology which is designed to damage women and girls, and it's going to force its male Christian players to force it through and wear the signatory of that, but not its Muslim ones. Why are our institutions so wedded to this leftist, Marxist ideology, which, in my opinion, is ruining society and breaking up families?
Well, in a speech in the City of London, Keir Starmer insisted that there's no need to decide between cozying up with the United States and with Europe, saying, I reject it utterly. Now, he has to say this, doesn't he? But I personally don't want us any closer to the orange-haired fascist in the White House, Donald Trump. His tariff policy is dangerous. His tax policy is unjust and unjustifiable. His borders policy is, frankly, inhumane. Instead, I say let's turn back to Europe. They are reliable partners, our strong allies, our closest neighbours. They share our values. And I know that maybe some of you will have been thinking in the back of your heads, like I have in the last few months, weren't things better when we were part of the European Union? Have you thought it once? Have you thought it once, surely? Look, this Christmas, back away from crazy Uncle Trump. Cozy up to Mother England. Mother England? Mother Europe.